My first tip of this beginning of this, whatever the fuck this tips or whatever, is make your character female and have everything small. This way you can dodge and weave. I don't fucking know. You can, your misbox, your hitbox is small, alright? That's, yeah, your hitbox is small and less people can shoot you because you're small and you can hide and all that rubbish. My next tip is something that is asked of me so much, and that's what I put my points into. So I'm going to tell you right now. I like to have 300 health, and then I like to have 150 stamina, carrying it off with 300 weight, so you can take all in a run. Then I like to have 2 points into fortitude, so I don't get one shot by Trudons, and then the rest into movement speed. Now, if you're level 70, it doesn't matter that much, because you just can cap off some levels from your movement speed, but you make sure you have to have the others, because then it's very nice. My next tip is to sneak up on people with bowlers and not run at them when they can see you. This way you'll catch them by surprise and guarantee 100% bowler. This way you can club anyone out and you can get as much loot as possible when you have nothing. Another PvP tip is to literally flop around like a fish when you get bowlered. This is an amazing tactic to dodge the bullets that they are shooting at you. This has worked so many times in the past, and I think you guys will love this tip. This way, when you get bowlered and they don't have a club to knock you out, you may come out of there alive, because half the time you don't. So this is a very good tip. My next tip is what you should have as your loadout. Now, every time I PvP people, I can see that they don't have the necessary equipment to PvP, and that is why they lose some of their fights. Now, what you need is a long mech if you have one. They are an amazing tool for shooting people. Secondly, is either a shotgun, a pump shotgun, anything for close range. This is important so you can actually hit people close range. Next is some sort of melee weapon. You always need one, whether it is to kill passive dinos, wild dinos, anything at all. Next, you always want your bowlers. Bowlers are the most overpowered thing in the game. They are so broken. Next is a whip. Whips are very helpful because they can get the player's item out of their hand, or it can unbolus your friend. If you whip your friend when they're bowlers, you unbowler them, and that is an amazing helping hand. Next, you always want a crossbow with grapples. Grapples are so helpful, as you can grapple people's bodies when you kill them, and you can grapple when you're parachuting. You can grapple anytime, and they're really, really useful. Next is a spyglass. You always want a spyglass for when you see people, and you want to make sure if they're enemy, you want to make sure what kind of level they have, you want to make sure what kind of stuff they have, and that's something that is really important. Next is parachutes. Oh my god, no one carries parachutes, so when I pick them with a bird, they fall and die. Parachutes are so helpful because full damage is one of the biggest killers in this game. You need parachutes. Other things you can have are canteens for water. You can carry some food on you. You can sometimes have gas nades, so when you do bowler people and you don't want to go too close because they have a club with very high melee, you can gas nade them and then they will fall asleep and all the loot can be yours. My next tip is going into K mode, third person, anything when you're trying to look at bases or running away from people and you want to see what's behind your back. This is a really useful tip because you can see what your first person can't, and this takes away other players because they can't see you, but you can see them. This is massively game changing. My next tip is to work on your pterodon picking skills. Pterodons are one of the most used animals for PvP in ARK, so I would guarantee you would get better at PvP if you get better flying pterodons. Now, one of the best moves to do is the backwards I don't know, there's no name for it, but I'll show you what it is in these upcoming clips. And if you practice doing this, you will improve so much, because this is one of the most effective tricks to use in this game, and it is very nice. Right, you now know what guns you should use, but you don't know how to use the guns. Now, the long neck you should be using when players aren't moving that much, they're standing still, or they're riding dinos. This is one of the best guns to break armor and kill people, but not when they're moving so much. That is when it comes to the pump shotgun. You should use this gun when it's close range, lot of moving, and you can easily kill people. Now, compound bows are very good for when you want to kill people mid-range, when it's mid-PvP, you kind of both, like, it's one of the main weapons to use when you're a bit close range to mid-range, because it's a very effective weapon. It's also good for killing people's pteras. It does one shot to the head, and it is very, very good. Another PvP tip is to build a 1x1 if you are playing solo. I see people trying to build big bases when they're solo PvPing, and it just doesn't work. You need to build a 1x1. That way it's hidden. You can find a nice wooded area, and no one will try and raid it because it's a 1x1. They wouldn't want to waste the materials on it, so I recommend building this. So yeah, I'll carry on the video so you can learn out how to build it, and also there's a little bit of some flying PvP that I did just to show off how to fly PvP, because I never really touched on it massively. So yeah, also I'm trying to get to the 10-minute mark, so you're gonna have to brace with me.